This is Binyam and his friend Tesfaye. Like so many other children around the world, they share the dream of becoming professional footballers. In Africa, sports, and especially football, is seen as a way out of poverty. One small step on the way to fame and fortune is to get a real football like the one the older boys play with. The only ball Binyam and his friends have is one that they made themselves. They know how important practice with a real ball is if they are to achieve their desires. Eritrea has no professional superstars yet, but Binyam hopes to become the first. The goal is to play in an arena filled with people who are shouting and cheering. But saving money to buy a real football isn't easy when you are 7 years old. Binyam dreams a lot about how to get a hold of one. It is 6 years later, and a small part of Binyam's dreams is about to come true. A few days ago, he celebrated his 13th birthday. Some relatives who know of his passion for football have given Binyam a football kit as a gift. He cannot wait to receive it. Binyam is the eldest of 6 children. At the age of 9, he was chosen by his parents to go and live with his grandparents. It is common in Eritrea that the eldest child does so. They help their grandparents and make sure they are not left alone as they get older. Grandfather Sagai is the owner of this farm. He has a total of 40 goats, 2 oxen, many chickens, a donkey and a dog. In village terms, he is a fortunate and rich man. In much of Africa, owning land and animals is a sure sign of wealth. So Sagai is a proud and dignified man, as is evident by the way he carries himself. He is very pleased to have Binyam living with him. Binyam has various daily household chores which he carries out from morning to dusk, both before and after school. Grandma Silas and Grandfather Sagai have been up for a while now, and they are sitting in their favourite room preparing coffee. The traditional routine for preparing coffee in this part of the world has been the same for centuries. Fresh coffee beans are picked from trees in their compound and are then roasted over an open fire. The beans, when cooked, are then crushed into powder using a traditional mortar and pestle. The fresh coffee grounds are then put into a special vessel called a jabina and boiled. It is traditionally made of pottery. A filter made from sackcloth or horsehair is placed in the spout of the boiling pot to prevent the grounds from escaping. The morning coffee ritual takes about 2 hours. It is said that drinking coffee is not good for blood pressure, so Sagai doesn't look forward to his routine check in the local clinic. Fetching water is one of the children's daily tasks. It takes them about 5 minutes to reach the nearby dam. Water in dams like this one is usually not chemically treated and is used for washing clothes, irrigation and cleaning. Drinking water can be brought from the nearby communal water tap in the center of the village. In rural areas, the need for reliable water supply is paramount. Eritrea is a semi-arid land, but this is especially so as the country has been suffering from unusually dry weather, which is causing widespread drought. While drinking their coffee, Grandma and Grandpa discuss Binyam and the gift their relatives have sent him. Grandpa is in no hurry to go to the city and fetch it. He thinks that Binyam's dreams are unrealistic. What he needs to focus on is school and producing better results, as education is the key to success, not playing football. In fact, Grandfather has made it a demand. If Binyam does not show better results in school, he is not going to receive the gift. How can Grandpa stand between him and the football, he wonders. Binyam thinks that he is being really unfair. Just because he would have a football would not make him spend less time on his education. But Grandpa's motto seems to be, work first, reward later. Grandma points out that Binyam is just a boy, and having dreams are important. She suggests that Sagai collect Binyam's gift in the city, as he also needs to buy medication for his blood pressure. He has a long list of medications that he must take every day, and these can only be bought in the city as Mara. Binyam's school is located in a neighbouring village, and the journey there takes about half an hour. Binyam is excited to meet his friends and starts to tell them about the football again. As he recalls, the gift is not just a football, but a whole kit, with shirt, shorts, socks and boots. His friends are excited to hear, but at the same time they have heard it all before. Odi-Hawusha is a village in the heart of Eritrea. It lies 11 kilometers south of Eritrea's capital, Asmara. The population is approximately 1,800 people. Sagai is now 85 years old. He was born here and has lived his whole life in the village. He has seen changes come and go. There have been both good times and hard times. He and his wife have managed to raise 5 children here, all of whom have now flown the nest. In 2006, Eritrea embarked on a program of reconstruction, following the ceasefire with Ethiopia. The government program is one of self-reliance, and as such, most Eritrean youth are involved in the scheme to rebuild the country's infrastructure. Eritrea does not accept food aid, in the belief that this creates a culture of dependency. They do, however, accept development aid. Part of the plan to meet the demand for a dependable water supply is the construction of dams and microdams. This one has been built by the village members, including Sagai. He remembers how the local youth all contributed voluntarily to the construction of the dam. It now meets the water needs of the village. Using irrigation water supplied by the dam, the community is able to produce agricultural products throughout the year. Such projects have been going on at a much larger scale throughout the country. Water conservation is crucial to a country such as Eritrea. With the effects of global warming, it's likely that the region will become even drier. This must be countered by long-term planning in order to bring stability and prosperity to the rural and agricultural regions. It's a new term, and Binyam will be going into the 6th grade. This means that he will have at least 3 more years of schooling. Elementary school education in Eritrea is mandatory and free for all children. Before entering their respective classes, the children gather in the playground. Assisted by their teachers, they form orderly lines and take part in the ritual of morning exercises. After that, the children hoist the Eritrean flag and sing the national anthem. Geography is the subject today. It is not one of Binyam's favorites. Binyam has a hard time paying attention because he thinks English is more important for him. He is dreaming of football during classes and pictures himself as a famous footballer. He imagines himself giving interviews in fluent English. That's why English is his favorite subject. Most of Binyam's teachers are not very well qualified. However, they can provide fundamental education needs. The education system in Eritrea is under development, and its focus is on developing its own system. On the way home from school, Binyam tells his friend Tesfaye about a very troublesome goat that is causing problems. It is proving hard to control, and they must keep a constant eye on it at all times. That means that they will not have enough time for doing homework or playing football. Binyam thinks maybe it would be better to sell the goat. He is hoping he can convince Grandpa to do so. Binyam is a bit worried that he will not pass his next test. If he fails, he will most certainly not be getting the gift. He is getting tired of Grandpa knowing what's best for him. A gift is something you receive without having to pay for it. His friend Tesfaye agrees. For lunch, Silas makes injera. She does all the household cooking and preparing. Injera is sourdough East African bread and has been made since ancient times. It looks similar to a pancake but is larger and perforated, with a slightly spongy texture. It is traditionally made from a grain called teff, which is a gluten-free grain. It is now being utilized in the West as a substitute for wheat flour, in everything from bread and pasta to waffles and pizza bases. The house that the family lives in, and which they share with the animals, is quite large. It is divided into two. One section is for the family and the other is for the animals. The house is a combination of both an old traditional Eritrean Hidmo house and so-called modern Mereba house. The roof of a Hidmo house is made of grass and mud and is so thick that it has to be supported by no less than 12 strong wooden pillars. The mud and grass roof serves as a natural air conditioner, maintaining the indoor temperature at a comfortable cool level, even when the outside temperature is unbearably hot. Cooking for the household is done in the traditional Hidmo kitchen over an open fire. The smoke from cooking is ventilated through the purpose-built roof. The more modern Mereba house utilizes the roof space for bedrooms. They have thinner roofs that are easier to build, and these types of houses tend to be more popular with professionals. They are embraced as a symbol of status and modernity. Injera is placed on a large round serving platter. Then different dishes of meat or fish, vegetables and salads are placed on top. In East Africa, it is an accompaniment to main meals and is eaten instead of rice or potatoes, couscous or fufu, as we see in other parts of Africa. The humble house of Segai always has a guest who joins them for coffee or a meal. It is an obligation in Eritrea to share a meal or a drink with a neighbor who is less fortunate. Grandpa takes the opportunity to have a serious talk with Binyam about life and his future. He had advised Binyam that he must study harder. The way to gain the respect of his peers and society is through education, he says. Binyam thinks that if he won't do so well at school, he at least knows about farming, so he could get by in life regardless. Segai tells him that having some knowledge about traditional farming is not enough in this day and age. It is essential to study modern methods of agriculture if he indeed becomes a farmer. Binyam's school day ends at noon. This allows him to attend his afternoon goat herding shift. He manages a herd of 80 goats, 30 of which belongs to his neighbour. Grandpa's health started deteriorating when he was 75 years old, around 11 years ago. Unfortunately, due to his health, he is no longer able to do the physical job, although he wants to. At times, herding can be very isolating. Binyam misses his family, especially his siblings. He often wonders what they are all doing. He even misses the squabbles with his brothers and sisters and hoping that they will all visit him soon. The flute Binyam is playing is known as a shambiko and is made from a piece of wood. He enjoys playing this instrument whilst watching over the goats. Hearing the sounds of the instrument reassures the goats that Binyam is near and watching over them. Spending a large amount of time in the mountains, as Binyam does, allows him to reflect on his thoughts. Grandpa and Binyam have very different ways of thinking. Binyam doesn't quite understand that you have to work for things, even gifts. He just doesn't understand why he should work for something that has been given to him. After all, it is free, isn't it? Are all the children in the world treated like this, he wonders. Binyam knows he must do some studying. Tomorrow is the test, but he is in no mood right now. His friends have started playing football and want Binyam to join in. Injury sometimes happens, but they never allow it to get in the way of their game. Even though the friends are fully engrossed in the game, Binyam never forgets his responsibilities and instinctively decides to check on his herd. They quickly realize that there is a problem. One of his goats is missing. Immediately, Binyam knows which goat to look for, as he has an ongoing issue with one in particular. His suspicions is soon confirmed. It's the same troublesome goat that had run away before. It is not always easy or possible to keep track of every single goat at all times, as they can wander too far away from the flock into dangerous territory. This is also very dangerous for the children, as there are predators such as hyenas, baboons, snakes, and foxes in the area. Usually someone volunteers as the lookout. After a long day in the mountains, Binyam brings back the flock. Separating his grandfather's goats from the neighbours is easy. The goats' natural instinct tells them which house they belong to. Every evening, Binyam also brings home firewood, which is required for cooking and heating the hidmo. When the adult goats reach home, their young, who are not taken out to pasture, run to greet them as they are hungry after a whole day of waiting to be fed. Binyam must then hurry and milk some goats before their young take it all, as the family needs milk too. Binyam continues to think thoughts and questions that he wouldn't dare bring up with Grandpa. To question him and his way would be very disrespectful. But still, Binyam feels that working as hard as he does, shepherding, collecting water and firewood, milking and running errands, and never asking Grandpa for money, he should at least receive the gift without conditions. He feels that Grandpa is definitely too hard on him. Binyam gives Segai a rundown on the events of the day. This is Binyam's chance to speak his mind. The main story is about the naughty goat that ran around chasing the other female goats, causing disruption to the flock and unsettling the others. After hearing the full story and discussing it with his wife, Grandpa ponders on the matter of whether to sell the goat or not. After the day's work is done, the children gather to watch television, and Binyam's favorite program is on. They love to watch football together, and apart from being entertained by the game, they can also enjoy the entertainment amongst themselves while watching. Watching the South African World Cup reminds Binyam of his dream to one day play on the Eritrean national team. It brings a smile to his face, especially as Eritrea is yet to participate in a major championship. He likes to think that when it does, he will be on that team. Still feeling good from last night's victory, Binyam takes the test in school and passes with a good result. The future looks good. Binyam is on top of the world, now that he is sure to please his demanding Grandpa. Now there can be no more obstacles between him and the football. Grandpa has come to the conclusion that selling the goat would be the best decision. It is crucial to goat herding that there is tranquility and harmony amongst the flock. A disruptive goat does not fit in. Binyam seizes the opportunity and suggests that if his grandfather were to sell the goat in the city, he could collect his gift at the same time. Grandpa says he will consider it, but reminds Binyam that one test is not enough. He must strive for long-term improvement. Silas thinks that Binyam deserves the gift. It's time for a trip to the city. Segai could buy his medication, sell the goat and buy some cooking ingredients for her. Binyam tells his friends about his gift and they're all expecting the ball to be coming soon. They are also impatient and are beginning to wonder whether Binyam is making it all up. The market in Asmara is where many people from all over Eritrea meet to buy and sell goods. Grandpa doesn't have a car, but today he is fortunate to be going into the city on the same day as his neighbors. Grandpa managed to agree on a selling price for the goat and decides to use his day away from the village to also visit the city. Eritreans and the diaspora returning home often visit Asmara to meet with family and old friends. Many men and women from the neighbouring villages are tempted by the liveliness of Asmara, which is in stark contrast to quiet village life. Crowds of people, women in beautiful glittering cloths, bright lights and cafes serving delicious cakes and coffee with friendly waitresses, music and alcohol all contribute to an exciting night in the city. Many often return home with much lighter pockets than they had planned. In 1991, Ethiopian military forces were defeated in Eritrea, fleeing the city without fighting. This is the reason why Asmara, in comparison to other Eritrean cities, remains relatively undamaged. Binyam is a bit worried as he has now learned that nothing can be taken for granted. He understands that Grandpa needs money for his subsidized affordable medications and shopping list for Grandma. If he cannot get a good price for the goat, Grandpa will be short of money and head straight back home. Compared to Sagai's humble traditional home in the village, his relatives live in a more modern Western-style house. The house is 2 stories high and is of a much higher standard. Like other cities, there are more jobs, better prospects and many additional business opportunities. especially if you are educated. This is the reason Grandpa hopes and wishes for Binyam to study harder. A good education is the foundation for success, and success will give his grandson a much better standard of living.
What was she like?
Binyam realizes what Grandpa is trying to tell him about education shaping his future, but of course with a little football on the side. Binyam is waiting and hoping, as well as his friends. Finally, at long last, Binyam has received his precious gift. He and his friends now have a real ball to kick around instead of an old stuffed sock. Now he is ready for some serious football.